Okay. Welcome back to my Let's Play of Nightmare Frames. I know I keep saying this, but I feel like we're getting pretty close to the horror elements. You know it's gonna happen. Honestly, I did not expect to spend this much time in LA. I thought we'd be here for like an hour, but, you know, we have encountered a cult now, so that is something. Something scary. So we are trying to save the life, I guess, of the leader of the cult after they ingested some weird herbal concoction that puts them in a deep sleep. A deep, vivid sleep for a few days. But it's probably going to kill the leader, so we're going to have Dr. Ramirez here make us a remedy. But we need to get, we need to get a bamboo leaf of some kind, which is at Ruskin Productions. And then the other component, cocaine, is what we need. So we're just gonna scoot in here, say hi to him, and then whip out our scissors. Snip, bamboo leaf. What are you doing? Taking a souvenir. You're disturbing the feng shui of the office. For a leaf? Really? Do what you want, but if things go wrong, I'll know who to blame. Yeah, I'm saving the life of a cult leader, alright? It's important stuff. Trust me. And then we're gonna go to the site. And we're gonna talk to... Hello. Amanda. Amanda's story is too complicated to summarize it here. She came to Hollywood hoping to find work as an actress and ended up down a spiral of drugs and bad company. Not even she knows how she ended up in this situation. She prefers not to think about it. You look like you make a good living. Want to have a good time? Sure! Before you can open your mouth, an image of Vicky staring daggers at you with her arms crossed materializes in your mind. No, I'm sorry. Well, it looks like it's going to be one of those nights. Alright, I'm glad they put that in the game. Alright, Guy. Hey, Fred. You again? What do you want, man? I need some cocaine. What do you take me for, man? Do I look like a drug dealer? Yeah, that's why I'm asking. Get out of here, pal. I don't sell that shit. Hey, you with the beard. Yeah, you, come over here. Leroy won't sell you shit because that guy is around. Who? The one leaning on the pole. He's an undercover cop. They think no one can tell, but we can usually spot him a mile away. Just look at the way he's dressed. He thinks he's Don Johnson. What is this guy up to? To earn brownie points, I guess. These are the kind of cops fresh out of the academy that want to move up the ranks at all costs. I know a few of them. I guess catching Leroy's suppliers would get him some recognition. Is that copper planning to stand there all day? All day long. The bastard has the patience of a saint. Leroy doesn't look intimidated, though. Look at that. This looks like a staring duel right out of a spaghetti western. Yeah. Alright, let's talk to this guy. Get the hell out of here. I told you to get lost. Idiot. Alright, here, look at these photos I found. I would like to show you... Look, get out of here, will you? I will. As soon as you see this. You know what you're showing to me, pervert? They're not mine. They're from a guy on Vine Street who's in the business of taking pictures of naked minors. I was hoping you could teach that degenerate a lesson. What makes you think I'm a cop? Well, either you're watching that dealer or you're in love with him. The author of these photos is a well-known photographer. You could score some points with your superiors by arresting him instead of standing around here all day staking out a petty drug dealer. Can you assure me that these photos are not yours? I think there's something else you're not telling me. What's your name? Christopher Ruskin. Alright, Mr. Ruskin. Where can I find this bastard? Vine Street. His name is Barry Mitchell. He has a photo studio with a black facade right next to the number 17 bus stop. You can't miss it. Give me these pictures. Thank you for your cooperation, Mr. Ruskin. Psst. Hey, dude, come here. I don't know how you did it, but you just got rid of a royal pain in my ass. You've earned Leroy's respect. You get a 50% discount on all my shit, so make the most of it. What do you need? Cocaine. Cocaine, huh? Should have guessed. You Hollywood types always want the same thing. How much you want? Just a bit. Less than half a gram. Less than half a gram? What are you gonna do with it? Put it in your coffee? Whatever, man. It's none of my damn business. Shit. Mr. Goldberg? Alan Goldberg? That depends. Who are you? You can call me Tom. My boss is aware of your search. He would like you to share everything you have discovered about Edward Keller. If it's alright with you, of course. Wait a minute, how did you know... Would you mind joining me so that we can discuss the matter? All this is starting to give you a bad feeling. Who's your boss? Allow me to omit his name for the time being. He would compensate you financially when you share the information. I would accept if I were you. I don't know what you're talking about. I know what I'm talking about, Mr. Goldberg, and so do you. Look, pal, I don't know what this is all about, but leave me alone, will you? I would like to inform you that he is not used to having his invitations turned down. Do yourself a favor and reconsider the offer. What do you say? No. Is that your answer? The kindest one. All right, as you wish. Have a nice evening. I'm back. Here you go. 15 with the discount. Fine, 10. Hope you put in a good word for me with your Hollywood buddies. I'm here all day. Tell them to ask for Leroy. Okay, we got the cocainum, but some shady shit going down. Oh, should we poke our head into the photo studio? You have no business in Barry Mitchell's studio, and you'd better not come back here. The guy will want to get his revenge. You may not get away with it this time. Alright. I have the cocainum! I will give it to you. Here's the bamboo leaf. Here you are. Good, thank you. Alright, we're missing just one more ingredient. Alright, the coke... Keep your voice down, please! Oh, but I got it right here. Rosa takes the bag of cocaine with a shudder and gives you a disapproving glance. Yeah, I'm trying to save a man's life! Did Mr. Goldberg bring the ingredients? Yep, here they are. Excellent. I will start working on it. Hey, young man, come over here. I noticed you gave Rosa a bag with some powder. Is it good for bone pain? Get me a little bag of that. How do you take it? Do you dissolve it in water like an infusion? Mr. Goldberg. If you'll excuse me, I need to speak with the doctor. The mixture is ready. Do you know how to give an injection? No, but I don't think it will be too hard. First, purge the syringe to make sure there's no air in it. Then press on the arm so the vein becomes visible. And then I stick the needle in it. Damn right. I recommend that you take your friend to the hospital for a full checkup after this. Here you go. There's no time. Go to your friend. Thanks, Doc. How much do I owe you? Go talk to... Ah, it doesn't matter. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to get back to work. Alright. Let us save his life. Just where I left him. Here you go, pal. Are we there yet? Are we in another galaxy? Sort of. This is Los Angeles. Los Angeles. This is a test, isn't it? You are the Dark Lord's envoy, and we're not at the old farm. When I pass the test, the true reality will be revealed, won't it? I'm afraid not. I don't know what kind of shit you took, but you only fell asleep. And in your case, on the verge of death. It didn't work? Damn it! Well, we'll try again. Who are you? My name is Alan Goldberg. Would you like to join Sigma Omicron, Alan Goldberg? No, thank you. I would like to stay alive. What are you doing here, then? Only Sigma Omicron members are allowed here. What am I doing here? Saving your life, you ungrateful bastard. Although I actually came to ask you about Edward Keller. Edward Keller? I hadn't heard that name in a long time. You knew him, didn't you? I didn't really get to know him very much. Joseph and Brian brought him to the commune. We used to worship Satan. Well, more like the three of them. The rest of us were more into free love and getting high on drugs. We called ourselves the House of the Black Light. It was the 60s, you know. What happened to him? I'm trying to find Keller. I don't know, man. Like I told you, I didn't know the guy very well. I didn't want to get too close to him either. During the short time he was here, some weird things happened. What kind of stuff? He was a strange guy, much more so than the rest of us. He only spoke to Joseph and Brian. And when he addressed others, he did so with contempt. He treated girls like shit. But that's not the worst part. Once he brought a book. That fucking book. Keller gathered us all together and began to read. To tell you the truth, I don't know exactly what happened. At that time, my head was not working well. I was high all day long, and even more so that night. The thing is, as he was reading, people started to get nervous. Paul had a heart attack. Mike and Sandra shouted that they were somewhere else. And poor Mia. Fuck, she tried to rip her eyes out. All because of a book. It was no ordinary book. After that, everyone left the House of the Black Light. Keller left, and Joseph and Brian set up that business. What business? Fuck, man, the Church of Mother Earth. Wait a minute, Joseph and Brian. You mean Joseph DeSimone and Brian Kinnaman? Who else? The Founding Fathers. What a pair of scammers. They used to talk about setting up something similar when they were here. If anyone can tell you about Keller, it's them. They were always together. I think I'll pay them a visit. I highly doubt you'll be able to talk to them. They are unreachable, and not just anyone can go in there. I'll think of something. I'm leaving. Do these kids a favor and wake them up. And be careful. If I were them, I'd punch you as soon as I opened my eyes. Wake up, slackers. We've got a trip to make. Los Angeles is a city full of freaks, for sure. But the ones in there are not just eccentric, they're also dangerous. You decide to do something about it. To the headquarters of the Church of Mother Earth, please. But first, take me to the nearest police station. They need to see what happened there. You have never understood the meaning of the symbol of the Church of Mother Earth. According to its founders, it represents the human personification of Mother Earth reaching out to embrace humanity. You have to use your imagination. You only see a Y. No matter how hard you try, you still see a Y. The wall surrounding the 100-acre compound prevents a large part of the interior from being visible. You can walk down a few feet and jump over the wall without being spotted by the security guard. Although the ones who will probably see you are the other 6 who make their rounds inside the inner perimeter. Nobody could have thought that in 1970, those 2 strangers preaching in front of the Chinese Theater in Los Angeles would end up founding a religion with a presence in more than 20 countries and whose most famous members would include politicians, actors, and influential businessmen. Alright. Chris Hartman believes that the Church of Mother Earth is a nest of con artists and that its founders should have landed behind bars a long time ago. This does not detract from the fact that as long as he is paid every month, he performs his work responsibly and professionally. Is there anything you require, sir? Yes, I would like to talk to Joseph DeSimone or Brian Kinnaman. I'm afraid that's not possible, sir. Why isn't it possible? To begin with, you are not a member of the church, and in order to talk to them, there is a hierarchy you need to follow. You should talk to a lower-ranking member for starters. May I speak with a lower-ranking member? Sorry, sir. You must be a member of the church for that. Well, what are the requisites to become a member of the church? I don't know, sir. I only take care of the front gate. What do I have to do to... yeah, okay. Right. Yeah, we figured we couldn't just come right here. We gotta go talk to Tom Cruise. Alan, my favorite screenwriter. How can I help? I would like to talk with the founders of your church. Joseph and Brian? Alan, that's impossible. There's a pretty strict protocol for that. Do you have any contact with them? Of course, I'm level 9. Is there any way I can get an interview with D. Simone and Kinnaman? For starters, you should belong to the church. Done. What? Are you serious? Totally. About time, Alan. The church needs people like you. I can't believe what I'm hearing. But first, I would like to have an interview with them. I've already told you, it's impossible. Only level 9. I thought you had enough influence in the church to arrange a meeting with them. You know what? It's done. I only have to make a phone call. Hey, Pam, can I make a call? You're not going to call that call from the company phone. What call? I'll call from the car. I have a phone in there. Do you want one, Alan? A car? What? No, a phone in your car. I don't have a car. You will. I have to stop somewhere else first. I'll call on the way. See you in front of the headquarters in, how about half an hour? Sounds good to me. Alan, you just made the best decision of your life. Did you hit your head or something? What? Are you really going to join that pack of morons? Me? Not in a million years. I just want to... Never mind. But don't worry, I'm not joining the Church of Mother Earth. Hey, do whatever you want, it's none of my business. But I appreciate you getting rid of that bore. Yeah, I don't know if I'd join Scientology just... You know... just to find information about some lost movie director. But, I guess if he, you know... if he does this successfully, then, you know, he doesn't have much to worry about. Alan! I thought you were going to ditch me, but here you are. Well, shall we go in? Of course. Not everyone has the privilege of meeting Joseph and Brian in person. Consider yourself lucky. Come on. Good afternoon, Chris. How's the family? Very good, Mr. Crosby. Thank you for your interest. Meet my friend Alan Goldberg, soon-to-be church member. Pleased to meet you, Mr. Goldberg. We have an appointment with the Founding Fathers. If you'll allow us, by all means, go ahead. James, nice to see you again. Belinda, I went to the movies yesterday to see your latest film. Yeah, did you like it? Outstanding, a great performance. Thank you. This must be Alan Goldberg, right? Yeah. Alan, this is Belinda Morgan, our public relations officer. My pleasure. That's one of our founders, Brian Kinnaman. Pleased to meet you. I am honored that you want to join this great family, Alan. And finally, our dear guide, Joseph de Simone. James! Our most international ambassador. Oh, I wouldn't go that far. You know what, Alan? Your promotional tours do more for the church than 100 PR people. No offense, Belinda. You always say that. It's the truth. Okay, dear James, let me get to know our future member better. Of course. Come closer, son. What do you know about our church? You spend your time talking to the Earth. Well, rather it is Mother Earth who speaks through me. The conversation is one-sided. I cannot communicate with her. The church is nothing but a conduit for our dear mother's wishes. She has remained silent throughout all human history until 25 years ago when she decided she had had enough. We try, as humbly as possible, to follow her teachings, and in the process, to progress as a species in order to be more respectful of her. The only purpose of our life is to relieve her cries of pain. According to James, you were skeptical of our doctrine. Tell me, son, what made you change your mind? I'm sick of the life I lead. Most of us thought that way before we came in contact with Mother. Do you want to talk about your future in the church? More like your past. What? I need information about Edward Keller. I don't know that name. Is he a member of our church? Not this one. He belonged to the House of the Black Light. Who is this man, James? Are you a fucking journalist? Edward Keller. You met him in the late 60s in a satanic cult in... Blasphemy! Everyone knows where Joseph was in the late 1960s. He was working in his Iowa farm when he received the first revelation from Mother Earth. Yes, he was in a farm, but not in Iowa. It was in Simi Valley. How dare you imply that Joseph was a Satanist? Alright. Let's all calm down. Let's not get nervous. I just want to know where I can find Edward Keller. Then I'll leave and you can keep talking to the Earth or any other planet you want. James, get this man out of here. Get him away from my sight. I never in my life want to see him again. Alan, you have to go. Help me calm things down a bit here, James. I don't know what the hell I said to make this man freak out like that. Let's get out of here. Do I need to call security? Let's go. I'm sorry, Joseph. I had no idea about this. Demote James to level 6. That way he will think twice before bringing this sort of blasphemy into this holy church again. What the hell is wrong with you? What were you thinking of? What did I say? What? You accused Joseph of being a Satanist. Joseph, kindness personified. It's the truth, damn it. You are lying. I might not be able to convince you that the Earth does not speak to that Bible thumper, but believe me when I tell you that this guy is lying even about his background. I don't want to hear any more. Do you know what they're going to do with me now, Alan? I'm going to be disciplined. Oh my god, what are you, 2 years old? I'll be demoted. Do you know what that means? Look, James, you're a good guy who's been taken for a ride with all these Mother Earth fantasies. Do yourself a favor and get out of this damn cult. You don't need them. You're rich and have an established career. Career? After this? Go fuck yourself, Alan. Calm down, would you? Go fuck yourself! Okay, thank you. Mr. Goldberg? Yeah? I have a message for you. Inside the luxury theater, in half an hour. Who's the message from? I don't know, Mr. Goldberg. It's coming from there. I can't say no more. Well, thanks, I guess. Okay. I mean, I'm not really sure what Alan was hoping to have happen. That the guy would just be like, oh yeah, I was a Satanist. Yeah, let me tell you everything I know about being a Satanist and all that stuff I did. In the half-light of the ticket booth, you see a bored clerk struggling not to fall asleep. Hello. Are the movies worth it? Oh yes, both were nominated for the Golden Globes last year. They're just porn movies, dude. If they get you horny, they've done their job. Oh, Loving Harry, 1 week in Greece. Someone is waiting for me inside. Sounds good to me. But no sex in the screening room. Find yourself a motel when you get out of the theater. I'm Alan Goldberg. Has anyone asked for me? The clerk gives you a condescending look. Okay. The arrival of VHS dealt a devastating blow to X-rated theaters, to the dismay of exhibitors and the delight of all who are now able to give in to their basest passions in the comfort of their own homes. There are very few left in LA today. The Luxury is one of them. The Luxury has a double feature today, Loving Harry and 1 week in Greece. 1 week in... Oh, I get it. Hold on, we gotta look at every poster. For a moment, you thought the Luxury was exhibiting Melodies from Heaven. The distributor of Ebony Fire has used the original movie poster of the film you wrote and had a muscular stud painted on top of Katherine Ryan. There was a time when the original poster was plastered all over LA. Good times, huh? Katherine Ryan, isn't she a comedian? The night before, a couple of moral crusaders threw eggs at the door of the Luxury while hurling homophobic insults. Then they beat up a poor beggar 2 streets down. They arrived home early. One of them had to get up early for work. He was an ethics teacher. I don't know if Alan is just like making this up, or if he's omniscient. I'm not quite sure. Wouldn't it be great if everything were free? Buy a ticket if you want to enter the movie theater. Oh, I thought you were letting me in. One ticket, please. $2.50. Here you go. Good, you're now inside the luxury. But there are a lot of people here. Who could have summoned you? There's a lot of people in a gay porn theater. And none of them are jerking off. Kind of wild. They're all, I mean, this dude's just eating popcorn. I don't know. Willis Jones is not interested in porn in the slightest. He lives with 5 roommates in a small apartment and is not in any rush to get home. He just wants to enjoy the air conditioning, drink a beer, and maybe take a nap. Okay. Mike is in charge of keeping order in the room. Today, everything seems quiet. Frank Ramos is obsessed with Randy Sands, the star of Loving Harry, to the point of wearing the same look as him. A couple of days ago, he found out that the luxury's days are numbered, and he wanted to see his idol on the big screen before this type of theater becomes an anachronism. Parker Dixon was unsure of his sexuality before entering the luxury this afternoon. Not anymore. Vince Castillo's innocence led him to come into the luxury believing that Loving Harry was a romantic movie, and now he can't believe what he's seen. Brian Kinnaman, one of the founding fathers of the Church of Mother Earth. He is definitely the person who asked you to come here. Well, we'll make him keep watching. Arnold Payne used to make some extra money by relieving the most aroused members of the audience, as long as they are awake. What Russell Fletcher likes the most about this type of film are the dialogue scenes. Right now he's getting bored during the action scene. Spencer Elliott has been fighting for gay rights his whole life. He was at Stonewall and marched in San Francisco alongside Harvey Milk. When he feels nostalgic, he goes to the luxury because the aesthetics of these 70s films brings him back to that era. Charlie Donovan tried to be edgy at a gathering of intellectuals by saying that the porn films of the 70s were on par with the new Hollywood films of the same decade. Since then, and to be consistent with himself, he goes to all the porn theaters that show these films, trying to find something to justify his faux pas. Gabriel St. Martin enjoys this type of cinema so much that his experience is not complete without the popcorn he brings from home. It seems that Clark Hammond wasn't in a hurry to get home after his interview with Eliza. Oh, Clark, magnificent bastard. Hank Miller leads an apparently happy life with his wife and 3 children. However, his greatest fantasy is to have sex with a man. But his fidelity to his wife prevents him from doing so. The only thing he can do is to come to the luxury and let his imagination run free. Tom Hellman is really horny and is thinking about unbuttoning his fly. Alright. Several parishioners have complained to Father Guthrie about the luxury's obscene programming, and he wanted to check it out for himself. He likes what he's seen, but he's not going to change a single comma from the sermon he'd already had prepared. He owes himself to his audience. Dave Loeb has heard rumors that a guy named Arnold is doing some little jobs inside the luxury. Before the second film begins, he will get up from his seat and ask people one by one who Arnold is. Is that this guy? Yeah, that's this guy. Okay. Goldberg, I'm glad you came. Nice place to meet up. After what happened at the church, I don't want to risk anyone seeing me with you. You know what the church thinks about homosexuality, right? So what better place than this to be able to talk at ease? No one would believe that one of the founders of the church has been seen in a gay porn theater. No, no one would believe that. And what the hell? I wanted to watch something interesting while I waited for you. What the hell happened in the church? Please excuse Joseph. He has been taking this persona of his quite seriously for years. He actually believes he grew up on a farm until the late 1960s when Mother Earth spoke to him. He has forgotten everything that happened in the House of the Black Light, or so he would have people believe. He went ballistic. He has worked too hard on his Messiah complex for a stranger to come along and take a story apart. Forget about him. You knew Keller, didn't you? Of course. Keller, the House of the Black Light. We were there. How did you find out? Perhaps it is true that I am a seeker. So, Edward Keller. What is your interest in him, Goldberg? I'm looking for his lost film. I can tell you about it. Edward, Joseph, and I met in the mid-60s. Oh, God. We bonded over our fascination with demonology and Satanism. At the time, Los Angeles was a counterculture hive. Anything that departed from the norm was welcome. And Satanism fascinated all of us young people in the counterculture. We heard of the existence of a 14th century book written by a European aristocrat who had an interest in alchemy. A treatise on primordial fear was one of his best-known works. What's the book about? No one knows, but it's rumored that it was written in human blood, and it could have an influence on whoever read it. For power-hungry men like Joseph and Edward, that was a godsend. Since we didn't even have a place to drop dead, we founded the House of the Black Light, with the intention of having a place to live in, and from where we could conduct our search for the book. But it got out of hand. As more new members arrived, we abandoned our research and turned to drugs and free sex. Those were good times, I must admit. Or they would have been if it wasn't for Edward. What happened with Edward? He was a psychopath. He enjoyed using fear to control people. His own wife and daughter feared him. He reveled in it. He began to impose punishments on members who didn't follow certain rules. I objected to it, but Joseph seemed delighted with the idea. What kind of punishments? Branding people with a hot iron, pulling out their fingernails, leaving them locked up for 3 days in the water tank. Barbaric shit, Goldberg. I still feel guilty that I didn't put an end to it. People accepted it without complaint. Joseph took good care of brainwashing them. Once I asked Edward why he was doing all those things. I could read between the lines that he had had a horrific childhood. He knew what it was like to live in constant fear, and he wanted everyone to experience the same thing. It didn't make sense to me, but as I said, Edward was a psychopath. Anyway, we had already forgotten the purpose of the House of the Black Light. Edward had some success with his movie, Bloody Mind Games. Joseph enjoyed being the leader, and I just hung around. Edward got us all together one night. I don't know how, but he managed to get that damn book. We sat in a circle, and he began to read some passages. The words were jumbled, and the whole text was gibberish. But as he read on, we felt fear. No, way more than that. Have you ever had a bad LSD trip, Goldberg? No. Multiply that by 10. We felt like we were someplace else, and that we were all going to die. It's hard to explain, but we were taken to... I don't know, it looked like hell in there. People began to cry out in despair, while Edward kept reciting the text as if in a trance. I had to put an end to it, so I snatched the book out of his hands. Everything vanished at once, and what I saw took my breath away. Paul died of a heart attack. His hair had turned white. Mia Washington had been abused as a child by her father. She had ripped her eyes out as she screamed that her father had appeared there with the intention of abusing her again. It was real, Goldberg. It's hard to believe. I'm not asking you to, but why did we all see the same thing? Collective hysteria? Far too easy. That's what you say when you can't explain a shared phenomenon. What happened next? After that, we decided to put an end to the House of the Black Light. We would have done it anyway. Some days earlier, the Manson thing had happened, so the days of Satanism were numbered. We had been thinking about founding something like the Church of Mother Earth for some time. So Joseph and I decided to go ahead with the idea. Edward told us that he knew how to replicate the treatise on primordial fear. He had found a way to do it. He found the key in the memoirs of a cursed painter who had tried to emulate the effects of the book using a picture painted with blood. He asked us to work with him in a small town in Sacramento. What was it called? It was in Sacramento. I think it was called Serena. Yes, that's it, Serena. But we didn't want to know anything about it and cut ties with him. So, Serena, is that where Keller might be? I don't know if he's still there. Hell, I don't even know if the bastard is still alive. But that's the last location I can place him in. By the way, the last thing he said before he left was that the world would experience the greatest fear ever conceived. I think that book completely changed him. I think I have no choice but to visit that town. Will you update me on your findings when you return? I have never believed in the supernatural, and for many years I've been peddling a lie with the Church of Mother Earth. I know that what I saw that night was real. I need to know if that son of a bitch managed to create something like a treatise on primordial fear. I just want to find that movie. I'm not interested in tales of black magic. Be careful, Goldberg. Maybe a visit to Serena will make you rethink some things. I doubt that. I have to go, Kinnaman. Thanks for the information. A word of advice, Goldberg. Watch out for Keller if he is still alive. Join the 7th Art, Mr. Goldberg? You again? This time I came with my boss. He did not take your refusal very well. It breaks my heart. Get in the car, please. My boss is waiting inside for you. Look, pal, I don't want anything to do with you or your boss. I think I've made it clear. You just have to listen to what he has to tell you. I promise you won't regret wasting a mere 10 minutes of your time. I insist. And then I'll get rid of you? Probably. It's a tempting offer I can't refuse. Would you like me to open the door for you? It's not necessary. Can't miss it. Mr. Goldberg, it's a pleasure to meet you. Tom, let's go for a ride with Mr. Goldberg. Do you know who I am, Mr. Goldberg? David Ross. I usually make it to the top of the Forbes list every year. I'd rather be on People magazine's hottest list, but I don't think they cover my age range. First of all, forgive me for jumping you like this. I'm not used to someone turning down a business proposal. But I don't blame you. Tom may not have explained himself too well. What do you want? You've probably worn clothes I've manufactured, eaten food that comes out of my factories, or stayed in a hotel I own. They're very lucrative, yet boring businesses. What I really live for is my love of cinema, specifically horror films. And there is no greater pleasure than to hold in your hands a lost film that no one has seen. My biggest problem is that, unlike Helen, I have no luck with my seekers. I have to admit that she has a better eye for that. What have you found out about Edward Keller's lost film? How did you know? News travels fast among collectors. How about $1 million for sharing your information with me? 2, if I consider it excellent. 2? $2 million, yes. Right here, right now, I can write you a check. I don't know what Helen has promised you, but keep in mind that she won't give it to you if you don't get the film. I, on the other hand, offer you a considerable sum for what you know so far. Tell me, what do you think of my offer? Sounds tempting, but Helen Westmore has offered me so much more. Forget about Helen. That film has been missing for more than 2 decades. Do you think you're gonna find it on your own? Put yourself in my shoes. I have to give it a try. What the hell is wrong with you? Does Ruskin pay that well? When you realize you've hit a dead end looking for Keller's film, you'll come back to me begging for my money. And I may have the same information as you do by then, you miserable bastard. Look, Mr. Ross, I didn't get up this morning to be insulted by someone like you. Can I get out of the car? Tom, take Mr. Goldberg home. How do you know where I live? Right away, sir. I know everything. What, and then we just have to sit in the car, like, just looking at each other while we drive to my apartment? You keep going over Ross's words in your head. Could he be right? Serena just a dead end? $2 million. It's not just money you want, though, is it? I don't even know what I'm looking for. Alright, I don't think there's much to do here still, so we're probably just heading out. I mean, we're gonna get followed to Serena anyways. I don't know why you wouldn't have just said it. After dropping off all the items you no longer need, you walk through the door hoping to find Edward Keller's film in Serena. As a fellow traveler, you get the giddy feeling of coming back empty-handed after turning down $2 million. Like, they followed him into the fucking porn theater. They're following him to Serena. There's no doubt about it, so... Me? Who else? There's no one else left in the bus. End of the line. In the middle of nowhere? I already warned you that I was not going to enter Serena. This is as close as I can get. At the bus station, they told me that the bus station keeps ignoring our complaints. We are sick and tired of telling them to stop selling tickets to Serena. What the hell? They should get rid of the stop. No one travels to Serena. Except for you. I don't know what business you have there, but if you want to come back with me to Sacramento, now's the time. No, that's not possible. In that case, you're stopped, sir. But you're stopped, sir. You're gonna leave me in the middle of nowhere during a storm. Serena's half a mile from here. What's your problem with Serena? Why don't you want to go there? Things happen there. What kind of stuff? The driver goes silent. You can tell by the look on his face that he's not going to say anything else. Shit. Told you, we're in the woods. Maybe it's because of the cold and rain, but from the outside, the bus looks cozier than you thought it would during the ride. You'd give anything to sit inside and wait for the storm to die down. The driver blocks the door to prevent you from getting back on the bus and making a scene. I mean, who would see the scene? Alright, to Serena. Shit. Shit! After a long struggle against the elements, you arrive at Serena, soaking wet and shivering. Your plan is to find a hostel to shelter you from the rain, but the whole town seems to be abandoned. Yep. Whoa! Freeze! What? Not a single step further or I'll blow your brains out! And hands where I can see them! Oh shit! Wow. Neither the constant sound of rain or the roof nor the annoying musty smell have prevented you from sleeping relatively well. Although nothing made you think the day before that you would end up in the cell of a police station in a godforsaken town. All that remains of the mirror is a couple of shards of glass. Some prisoner probably broke it with the intention of using it as a weapon against the chief or himself. Spending your days cooped up struggling with the script for Lunatic 2, wandering from one end of Hollywood to the other, and the rough night you've been through are starting to take its toll on you. Astounding FX would be happy to use you as a model for one of their creatures. Inside the sink is a mixture of mold, rust, and other unknown forms of lichen. It can't be used. The faucet has been ripped off. If there's one thing you love more than cinema, it's your freedom, and feeling deprived of it makes you anxious. What? The door was open. Without hesitation, you decide to leave the cell. You slam the cell door with the intention of never setting foot in one ever again. Yeah, we'll see about that. You've been accompanied all night by the sound of a drop falling on the metal stove, as if it were the second hand of a wind-up clock. A layer of rust coats the metal stove, and the little door probably won't budge because of it. In any case, you don't need to open it. A ladder whose steps are either rotten or have been eaten by termites. The steps would not be able to support your weight due to their poor condition. It would be dangerous to climb on it. Dozens of pieces of clothing are piled up in the basket, absorbing moisture and mildew. Clothes in the basket are floating in a mixture of mold and water. You don't want to stick your hand in there. A simple tool used to secure components in place in order to work on them. Be careful when applying force on the lever. You could break something. You can use the press if you need to force something open, but it's missing the handle that turns the screw. An old washing machine covered in rust and mold that has seen better days rests in the corner. The washing machine door won't open. Doesn't matter much anyway, since the washer stopped working in '79. Everything on the shelves has been ruined by moisture or rust. It's all useless. You don't need anything from there. Okay. Goldberg! The cell door was unlocked and... I unlocked it! I called all the places you told me. Ruskin Productions, Joe's Diner, Astounding FX. Your alibi's pretty solid. As far as I'm concerned, you weren't in Serena during the last few days. I already said so in my statement. I've never been here before. Yes, of course. I have no doubts about that. As far as the law is concerned, you're a free man. I'm sorry for giving you a hard time. What's done is done. Oh, and by the way, I've been speaking with Eliza. Wait till the folks at Wade Creek hear about this. Great gal, isn't she? Very nice. By the way, I'm Police Chief Bowman, but you can call me Rick. Can I drop the formalities and call you Alan? Yeah, sure. Okay, Alan, how can I help you? Do you have any coffee? I need some. Of course, it's right next to the door. Help yourself. It's from yesterday, but I warmed it up on the radiator. Works for me. There's not a lot of luxuries in this police station. I try to spruce it up a bit every time I come here. As I was saying, sorry for the misunderstanding last night. But you gotta understand, 3 days ago a little girl went missing. Sarah Jordan, 14 years old. Doesn't seem likely that she ran away. The girl's a little slow. She has special needs, if you know what I mean. We swept the town and the surrounding area. The fact that you, a complete stranger, showed up in town in the middle of the night made you a suspect. Makes sense. No hard feelings. You were doing your job. I'm glad you feel that way. So, Alan, you mentioned a guy named Keller. That is what brought you to this town. Do you know Edward Keller? No. Last night was the first time I heard of him. You mentioned that he probably ended up in Serena. That's right. A reporter interviewed him in the early 1970s. That was a long time ago. He could be somewhere else. Probably, but it's the only lead I have on him. I can ask him questions around town, about Keller or about that reporter. Someone should remember. It would be nice of you. Especially after I made you sleep in that dump back there. The cells are a mess. I had to say it. Only the cells? The whole police station. What the hell, the whole town? Serena lost its municipality status in 1980. Now everything is managed from Wade Creek. I'm the chief of police there. I come here once a month to check that everything is okay. Except in the case of an emergency, of course. Like what happened to poor Sarah Jordan. And when I have a day off, I sometimes drop by to clean up a bit. Where can I find the former chief of police? He might know something about Keller. Marvin Floyd? He died 4 years ago. He left his position in the mid-70s. Poor Floyd spent his last years in a wheelchair. Last year, the Wade Creek City Council realized that Serena hadn't had a police chief for over a decade. And, well, here I am. The guy who brought me didn't want to come into Serena. Serena does not have much of a reputation around these parts, and it's not like its people are very welcoming either. It's not that. He looked scared. Yeah, well, nothing but misfortune has happened here since the town was founded. One of the worst tragedies to ever strike the town was the fire at the Clark Morgan High School. All the students perished in it. Jesus, that's horrible. On top of that, the locals believe they see things. Although I'm not surprised that after all these folks have been through, they're a bit, off their rocker. I think it's also because of the water. The river has been polluted for decades, but they don't seem to care. What kind of things do the people in Serena think they see? I don't know, visions, or something like that. It's like they're on a permanent bad trip, you know? If you talk to them, they'll try to convince you that they see ghosts. Don't play along. Are you done with the coffee? Yes. Come closer, I need to ask you a favor. The search for Sarah Jordan concluded yesterday. There's no trace of her. I've managed to convince 2 guys from the town, Mike Reeves and Fred Munson, to do a new sweep. They don't want poor Sarah to meet the same fate as Mary Elizabeth Hellman, a girl who disappeared 10 years ago. Well, to the point. Half an hour ago, Gordon Daggett, a guy who lives on the outskirts of town, called and said his dog had been killed. I have to take care of that, but Sarah Jordan is my priority. Could you go over to Daggett's house and see what that's all about? I'm not a cop, but I can make you deputy. What do you say? You just have to go there, listen to what he has to say, and take note of everything. And take a look at the corpse, too. That's all. Simple, huh? When the sweep is over, I'll talk to some of the locals and see if they know anything about Keller. All right, I'll do it. Great! By the power vested in me by the law, just kidding. There's a map in the info panel. I've marked Gordon Daggett's house for you. Well, I gotta go. The boys are waiting for me. By the way, grab that jacket there on the hanger. It was Chief Floyd's. It will come in handy. The weather's nasty out there. Damned rain. Okay. So now we're in a very spooky little town where there was a horrible fire that killed numerous children. And the people here think that they see ghosts and stuff. Getting some strong, like, class of 76 vibes here. Due to the fact that Serena's telephone service has not been updated since the 1930s, the town still maintains Margaret Swanson, aged 84, as its operator. Most wanted posters, emergency phone numbers, and the occasional memo, all dating back to the last decade. Those folks are probably behind bars, and the phones are no longer operational. You see a map of the Serena area. You have a map of Serena and the surrounding area. Okay. The filing cabinet holds 2 decades of police reports. You set out to search the drawers one by one in case there's any reference to Keller's name among the reports. This'll take a while. Nothing. I wasted my time. Marvin Floyd, Serena's former police chief, spent the last years of his life trying to solve the disappearance of Mary Elizabeth Hellman. He did not succeed. Nowadays, everyone believes her to be dead. Missing, Mary Elizabeth Hellman, 13 years old, 5'8" tall, brown eyes, black hair, red sweater, gray skirt. Last seen November 17, 1975 in Serena. Call 555-5032 to contact Chief Floyd or her parents at 555-3216. Yeah, you know that Keller's going to be involved. He's putting these girls in like some freaky-ass movies or something. A green slimy liquid floats inside the drum. You don't mean to drink that, do you? No. This is Margaret speaking to you from Serena. Who would you like to talk to, Chief? I'm not the Chief. You are speaking from the Chief's office. Yes, but I'm not the Chief. All right. Who would you like to talk to? Ruskin Productions, Hollywood. Chief Bowman called this morning. I think I have the number here. Yes, here it is. Just a moment, please. Ruskin Productions, Pam speaking. Hi, Pam. Alan! Christopher's been trying to contact you, but he couldn't reach you. He wanted to suggest a scene for the second act. I'm not in L.A. right now. Where? Serena, near Sacramento. In search of inspiration? More like looking to change my luck. When are you coming back? Soon, I hope. That's fine with me, Alan. Use the time to clear your mind, okay? I'll certainly try. Do you need anything? No, I'm fine. Then I'll let you go for now. I've got a call on the other line. Take care. Joe's Diner, Hollywood. Yes, I got the number here. The chief has been talking to them tonight. Just a moment, please. Joe's Diner. Best burgers in all of Hollywood. I'm Karen. How can I help you? Do I always have to say that, Joe? Karen, it's Alan. Vicky isn't here, Alan. You wanted to talk to her, didn't you? Yes, actually. You miss her, huh? You two should fix things up. Anyway, she dropped by this morning to see if you were around. She's very happy with the shoot and wanted to thank you. Who is it? Alan. Give me the phone. Hey, you. Wasn't it enough leaving me without a waitress that now you have to distract the only one I have left? Aren't you happy that Vicky has achieved her dream? In a movie where she has to show her boobs? Well, yes, I'm happy for her. But we're up to our ears in work, so don't sidetrack the staff, okay? I just wanted to... Okay. Several police reports on the verge of falling apart due to the humidity rest inside a mold-covered box. Could it be that Keller's name was mentioned in one of them? You look through the papers. Keller's name does not appear in any of them. No, of course not. The pictures show the police station's exterior in 3 different periods, 1890, 1925, and 1968. You don't need the pictures. The jacket that belonged to Chief Floyd is on the hanger. Nice. You take Chief Floyd's jacket as recommended by Rick Bowman. It has a double line and is made of leather, which will keep out the rain. Nice. There's some coffee left. No, 1 cup was enough. It's the worst coffee you've ever had in your life, but you needed your daily dose of caffeine after waking up. Alright, I think we're going to leave it off here. My voice is getting pretty scratchy. But we're in Serena. We're in a horror area for sure. So things are going to ramp up now. I guarantee it. My name is Mangg. Game watching has been Nightmare Frames. And I'll see you fine folks in the next part.